Some good driving here.
I don't think that's supposed to do that.
He's waiting for his teammate. Oh, Twisted Minds, this next circle here, pre-driving towards the center, being ready for any potential setup. And it goes north here. Look at all the teams that's going to have to make moves here. Just 4 or 5 teams inside this current circle. Team Liquid is going to be surprised with the amount of space that's open ahead of them. Look at all the priority compounds on that northern side.
Yet another hard shift once again, and again, it's going to favor Team Liquid this time as they make their way in on that north side. As you mentioned, just nothing but miles of space, and they also know that they can expect Virtus.pro or SOOPers coming in from that northern side. So knowing that the potential threats that'll be coming in from the north side are also pretty good when you're kind of playing from that edge location. As we check in with Shadow Esports, getting a little bit close to Twisted, but it looks like they'll avoid them for the most part. Yeah, after hearing those shots, just trying to make your way into a safer spot.
Yeah, trying to sniff out open space, trying to sniff out if there's any compounds available. And right now, sure, there's one of these center spots here, but it's a 2-2 split for Twisted Minds. And, you know, some of their aggressive teams, if they figure that out, they're going to be able to pull that off. But Twisted Minds does look like to be connecting and going towards each other. Look, Liquid is coming in from the northern side, and shots coming in onto full sense as well.
Yeah, lest we forget that Twisted Minds does have that BRDM. We've seen how important those vehicles can be coming to the late game, and Twisted Minds, one of the teams that knows how to play around them very, very effectively. As we check in with Petrichor Road on that south side, as you mentioned before, whenever the shift did come through, so many teams on the south trying to find their way in. It looks like, for the most part, they've managed to avoid each other for now. Nemesis really one of the only ones still making their way into TYLOO very far off to the south. Looks like they're going to wrap around to the west. But overall, looks like teams have kind of found a little spot to play here, although it looks like AG.AL maybe getting shot at by Liquid, but it's more just forcing them around here.
With this next circle here and how this pseudo river is on that eastern side here, and not that much space is going to be able to be played until we see that next circle pop here. Liquid being very greedy with the amount of space they're taking, especially this western compound is very breachable.
Slightly less greedy than I think they were planning to do, because they had left ALO up towards that revive station up on the northern side, maybe expecting somebody from Virtus.pro or SOOPers to try to make a run for it, but they will pull him back, instead play that tight 2-2 a little bit closer towards the center.
And especially if you have, you know, top 3 prior compound locked down already and your 4 guys left, I'd rather see them play to be for as long as possible. And especially with this next circle about to pop here, all the teams are coming in from that southern side. They have nobody except for AG.AL north of them here. So let's see what happens. Virtus.pro, last 2 players in that emergency pickup here, and it's indeed an emergency for them here. They're going across. They're seeing all the cars that's locked down, and potentially some guys are going to be shooting towards them. Maybe it's just a drop for an open space, or even towards a shack to take some of that central location.
This is going to be rough for them as the circle does pop in. Fortunately for them, it does donut up right towards the center, a little bit favoring west, but I think Virtus.pro maybe not having a good read on how heavy the south side of this zone might be, and maybe they think they might have spotted something along that riverbed that they can play. They're going to drop 2 down, but unfortunately they're right on top of Petrichor Road, and Corexi will find one, but Ming Ming and I-26 going to go down. His Vitality is getting involved as well. Corexi will get spotted though, and he will get taken out. Virtus.pro going out in 16th place.
Yeah, from game 1 with 13 kills to last place in this one. Sure, they got a kill, but yeah, it ended up being them getting that retaliation straight onto them here. Petrichor Road trying to reinforce this position. And on this southern side, oh, look at that. So much space, so much of these open fields being controlled by so many teams. They have each their quadrant locked down already. Melman finds heaven.
Well, having to play these rice fields, these ridges early on, this early on, can't feel great, but important a storm here. As will steal away heaven. That's another one of the SOOPers players going down. I think that's Human Deal now left as they'll make their way from the north on that dry riverbed. Liquid already in place. They're getting shot at in the backs and from the side by AG.AL with a 2-2 split, but Nemesis is coming in here quickly. We'll see if SOOPers can survive a little bit longer as they get a little water on their tires.
It's going to be difficult. They're trying to get anything just to have just slight pause here in this circle here, but everyone is shooting at them, and in a lobby like this, in a competition like this, everyone just hits their shots, even from far away. Lots of pressure being applied to Soopers here, and now they found a little space, a few rocks. Oh, Human down to 6 HP. Oh, Luke finds him from Team Liquid.
Oh, Luke just finding that mini right now as they will secure the point as well. And now deal the last player left alive for Soopers, and he is not in any better position than he was just moments ago as he will retreat back to the rock. Actually, going to try to send it right in because I think the shots from Geek and AG.AL on that eastern side of the river are a little bit too much, but Deal going to push right into the midst of Myth.
And if this next circle does not go northport, we're going to have an absolute slaughter in those fields. Look how many teams. It's so congested already. And with Myth holding on to just a little bit of an open space, they're going to be able to pop out and put some pressure on. They already got lots of pickaxes going on here. They're going to be molding up and putting some pressure onto some of these teams that's in the fields. But let's see, just 10 more seconds, and we're going to see that next circle. We're going to be ending up here. Twisted Mind still aggressive with the space they're controlling too.
Surprising, haven't seen any mortars really come into play yet. Do you maybe hold on to those a little bit longer? Wait for the next circle, maybe.
As you say that, doing it up once again here. Half fields, half a few compounds in space where Myth is, and Myth actually holding on to tons of control. And as you talk about it, mortars are coming in.
It's like Vitality going to send a few over, but they're just not finding the mark as the skies have started to light up with these mortars. As soon as that circle popped, Thanadol will get that knock on a Duck Juice. Big game for GAM to start things off, but now they are down to 2, maybe down to 1 here as Duck Juice will get flushed out. GAM in a little bit of trouble.
And honestly, around especially the TDM fields and the TDM hill here on the southern side, they have quite the information and control from Full Sense here. They're going to hold out GAM, they're going to have a fight with R8, and then they're going to be bringing the fight to all the other teams in this fields here. AG.AL with a big send on that eastern side, but Tulins finds an R8 player here, but and more. Oh, look at the nades coming in, lots of damage done. Beautiful, finds another knock on J-Jar.
Perfectly placed, as you would expect from our defending champions. R8 down to just Teddy and Empty, fighting in from that southeastern side. Batulin's right back into that BRDM. Go make sure you collect that point. Don't want anybody stealing that away. As we've said before, every point so precious here as GAM will try to send it right through. You see it on your mini-map. Clories and Wong F go right into the teeth of TYLOO.
He's knocked onto the carburetor and it's blown up onto him, so that's just gonna bleed out and be confirmed later on. Perfectic finds Wong F and gets flushed immediately by Tab. Meanwhile, it's Mehmet finds Salalsi, and GAM Esports is gonna be out in 15th place here. It's gonna be a good game for Twisted Minds. The amount of control they have already. Spaceman though finds the confirmation onto Salalsi. For Angry Man being extremely angry and holding on to this location against AG.AL.
Eyes on any potential third partiers here. This fight is taking a little bit longer than I think maybe they would have liked here as Hemas will find Spaceman. He's going to go down as we'll jump peeking through the smokes. The grenade's going to land. It's going to find him. Great grenade from Hemas. And now 4 AM is up against it. Shen on the riverside will find the spray. Window will finish him off as Hemas just peeks past the smoke. Will reveal himself just enough, but he should be able to survive a little bit longer. But now Nemesis is starting to make their way down here on the riverbank as well. They could get involved in a third party.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great setup for them potentially to be able to third party this fight, get some points, steal some knocks away. Now Shen's taking lots of damage from Nemesis here. He's down to half HP. And Winda is going to have to try to make space and maybe potentially get this confirmation on to him as the rest did come off. He's low, he's going to have to heal, but they are disengaging just a little bit. They're trying to maintain control of this little crevice that they've held on to. Oh my god, it's a double nade from Winda.
Beautifully placed, beautifully cooked. The discipline to drop 2 smokes first, and then Window will find him again. AG.AL gets wiped, but Window will go down to Sosid. Can Shen get that revive? He's already in vehicle, trying to go over there and defend his teammate.
This is great for Nemesis, great for Deal, but Shen is going to have to go and try to put out some utility, get some smokes deployed. They're not inside this next circle here that starts moving in 30 seconds. To see all the fans cheering on all these teams here. The Esports World Cup.
Nemesis maybe Getting a little bit distracted here. Weren't able to capitalize off of that knock that they got on the 4AM, so they are able to get Winda back on his feet. And Nemesis will actually regroup. They've got Melman kind of the tip of the spear here. A little bit close. They've got Myth on the other side of the ridge line, but they've got to worry about how they're going to get into zone. As Shen will find Deal, and that's going to do it for Soopers. He had to go somewhere. Unfortunately, Deal will go right into 4AM's waiting arms.
Yeah, what a clutch from Winda. Taking down AG.AL.
Massive.
Big names to take out here. Nemesis. Are they too passive for this fight here? Are they just really aware that this next ridge is just about in and they want a third party and have a bit of a fight here? But Winda was too quick about it. Now Nemesis is opening up, taking lots of damage, putting it onto Shen. Soset finds him. Twisted Minds also fighting R8 on the other side here, but this is the next big fight for space we're going to have in between 4AM and Nemesis.
They've got to make their way through the raid boss here. Winda, 7 kills now for 4AM already. Starting to get that snowball rolling just a little bit. Although they would like to get a little bit more placement here. They're managing to get points through kills and keeping themselves in the conversation, which is all you can really ask for as Nemesis try to pull up, do the drive-by, see if they can spot him. But Winda playing a little bit sneaky. Whoa. Not going to matter. Soset will finish him off. That's 2 kills now for Nemesis.
Surgically perfect for them to do exactly this here. And now they have the space on the eastern side, and now they're going to put pressure on everyone across the road here. Example finds empty. That is R8 out in 11th place, and Twisted Minds continues their onslaught onto this western side of the circle. So much space control. Full Sense also looking great for that southern side here. We're closing in on the fields. It looks like a fields ending to me here, but look at that northern side, Poro. So many teams about to fight.
A lot of teams, and you can see Team Liquid starting to creep in. You saw ALO hopped on that mortar for a second. Not sure if he was aiming at somebody or just trying to create space for them to crash. But right now, they do have a little bit of a foothold here right on the edge. Will keep those vehicles alive as best they can. Keep those smokes recycled, but they are right in grenade range. Myth come active, and they will find 2 immediately. Get another one on a Cowboy. ALO now, the last player left alive as grenades rain down on Team Liquid.
Oh my God, what a way to hold on to utility until the time you know exactly when another team pulls up. They create a pseudo red zone with that amount of nades coming towards Team Liquid. Go from 4 to 1 immediately. Soset finds Scabby. What a way to third party for Nemesis, pulling off onto Myth.
Beautiful timing here for Nemesis. They catch Myth out a little bit. The mortars are starting to fall through as well, though. Kiss will get the knock on a Melman, and that's going to force Nemesis to pull back a little bit. But Diffix is already across the street. They have to commit to this fight. They've got the smokes laid down, but Myth is returning the fire. They still got a little bit of utility left, and Levante is actually going to get the knock on a Diffix. So Nemesis now on the back foot.
Yeah, outside this new circle here, everyone's third-partying this fight here. They know Myth is a contender. Nemesis pulled up great. Getrax gets found as well. Stade gets knocked as well. Petrichor Road deeply involved into this third party as Nemesis and Myth struggle to get into this circle.
Just full third and fourth partying coming from the south side here. Soset now the last player left alive. Blue tickling his heels. Kiss will get the knock. He will get the flush, and he will take down Nemesis. Myth now down to 3 players, but they probably could have lost a lot more there. Great recovery from them.
Getting a little bit of kills for them. 3 so far. Could have gotten more. Belmoth finds Gedrox. A lot of teams fighting for space. And this next circle goes northwest. Twisted Minds are laughing. Their compound they've been holding on to for so long is still inside. And they're sharks in the water with that BRDM. TYLOO holding on to that corner. But so many teams are going to be pressuring from that eastern side here. And they're on the other side, so I see a lot of teams could potentially put some pressure onto them. I don't think they're going to be able to reinforce and hold 3 teams off from that spot that they're currently in here.
Park Pro, the Bush Monster, trying to stay here as long as he could, but it's going to be time to move here soon. As Shadow Esports, they were forced wrong. They're right above. EJ will take down 1, but will go down in the end as Shadow Esports tries to crash down. Twisted Mind sees all of this happening just uphill, but they've got the compound. They've got the BRDM. They have a direct path into late game. There's no reason to get over here and get involved in this just yet, but Myth they might get involved as they will find the angles. More utility being sent over in that direction. We've already seen how successful they can be as ALO will get the knock on a Jacob. The third party from Liquid comes in, but he will go down in the end. Team Liquid out.
What a nade's going to come out from Kamals here. We're down to just 2 players from Shadow. Kiss finds Kamals though. Levante also finds the nades onto I-26 here. We're down to just Kiss and Baron. He's going to have to heal. He's down to just 23 HP. Full 3-gear turret, but nades comes in from Setsuna. Myth goes down to just 1 player. Baron's going to have to put pressure onto him. He's half HP up on that hill here. Myth is struggling to stay alive inside this circle.
The timing might be good for him, though, because Petrichor Road and Vitality were third-partying this, but now they're fighting each other on the south side, so they might be able to get a moment here to breathe, maybe to reset, as Baron tries to finish off Setsuna. Oh, another good grenade, though. It's just not going to be on time.
Is going to go down to that. It's just going to crawl out on the edge. Might be able to survive. Goodness. Smokes are deployed from Baron here, and Myth trying to hold on to everything as this next circle has popped towards them. Got a lifeline straight out here now. Again, sharks in the water. Batulin's looking at Setsuna. He's backing up the PRDM, maybe considering to put some pressure onto this. One Dragon does find Hello My Bad. Vitality's been alive for quite a while here, but this next fight with Petrichor Road and TYLOO bound to be happening.
Yeah, Vitality, most of them took the fight against Petrichor Road, and they will win that fight, as Petrichor Road will go down in the end, but they do lose a couple of players in the process. Levante and Quizzy now the last 2 players left alive. TYLOO has been hanging out here in the middle for quite some time. They are very well dug in, literally and figuratively, as you saw those pickaxes go to work, but now Full Sense is trying to make the push onto Twisted Minds.
Oh my god, what a headshot from coming in here. Example finds Tika though. Now Setsuna, 3-gear, 55 HP, continues to rain bullets towards Myth. Kiss is low. He's going to be hurt by the circle in just a second here. He's going to be able to crawl in as this circle has gone north towards them. If these 2 teams are a little bit delaying this a little bit, we're going to have many teams, many players be eliminated. Oh, but Tulin finds Belmoth as Full Sense has involved himself into this compound found here. Flash finds him though with that Panzerfaust.
Gotta have your head on a swivel there, Flash. Or Belmoth rather, as he gets run over. Shadow Esports does get eliminated in the end here as Full Sense have lost 2. It's just down to Thanadol and Flash. Looks like the rest of Twisted Minds, after losing Batu and the BRDM, they are still holding strong in the compound. A little bit more utility. Thanadol gonna find Perfectix. It's a good knock to open up the door here. Tab tries to go for the res, but the push comes through. He will win the 1v1 though, and now that is Full Sense taken down.
Pick him up, get him into the other part of the compound here. Smokes is coming in here. As everything is being involved. TYLOO being able to survive the onslaught for so many teams, still being 4 alive. Extremely impressed with that. And now we're down to just 3 teams. Myth with 2, Twisted potentially with 3, and TYLOO with 4. But they have a lot of space ahead of them. They're going to have to move out of this corner just shortly when this next circle starts to move here. And 3 gears coming out from Myth here. We did see an arm in play, but now Kong, look at this. It's going to set up a mortar potentially towards Myth.
I would think that would be the easiest target here. Yet Kong looking off in that direction. See how close he can get. But once again, this is a late game Myth. Already 9 kills, and they have been fighting their way in. Will it land where it needs to? No. Not a bad idea sending it over towards that rock, but Myth just not there.
They are looking up, eyes in the skies here for this one. You're going to have to try to dodge as much as you can without exposing yourself to other lines of sight. Myth trying to dodge and weave this one here. Baron still with arm in hand, but now potentially losing his car. Oh, he did stop it. And now he's going to try to... Oh, damage done! 78 damage from the arm. Straight to the body of Lee.
This is a terrifying duo to have to deal with. Even if they're down to 2, and even if they're in a bad position, they do not go down easily. And they've got some pretty big weapons in the bag. TYLOO does need to be careful here, as they're going to continue to empty the bag. Send a few more mortars in. But Baron and Kiss doing a good job of keeping those smokes down, and unfortunately the mortars just not landing where they need to. Baron retreat back into the smoke.
Now they're inside the circle. They got smokes deployed here. If they can get a little bit lower ground and start maybe using the pickaxe just a little bit, they might be able to create some space ahead for themselves. The circle does look like to be ending up close to this center rock here. And if you're able to maintain or grab control of that early on here, the next fight is bound to be happening. And it looks like it's going to be Twisted Minds and TYLOO.
That's it, yeah. It is just basically try to survive long enough.
Mates!
As the nades will start coming through, they're going to land close. They're going to do a lot of damage, but one will bounce a little bit too far. That one will take down Example. The tab will be able to stick the heel in time, but more grenades being sent over in that direction. It's going to fall just shy.
Quick rest here onto Example. Now TYLOO advancing, getting control. Look, Baron actually already got control on this one here. They're looking to third party, looking to put pressure on both of the teams, so they do as much damage as they can to each other here. Kong does do some damage onto Perfectix. Look, full gear on him with 3, and FAMAS. Lots of heals still possible.
Goodness.
It's going to be a huge fight in between these two teams just soon here.
I love the fact that Myth took advantage of that briefest of moments where TYLOO was distracted by Twisted Minds and took the spot, took the rock closest to the circle. They are not out of this thing yet as TYLOO try to set themselves up here. The smokes are down, but Perfectix and the boys are not waiting. They're going to push right in. They'll find 2, they'll find 3. They're down to just 1. TYLOO, can he do anything magical here? Example's going to go down as one Dragon managed to get that knock, and they're going to get him right back on his feet. The EMT gear.
I love it.
Coming in here big for Twisted Minds here at the end.
Outskirt, last player finds Example again. Now 2 is knocked here. It's down to Perfectix. He does have the 3 gear. Lots of damage done here. Oh my god, he finds Baron. He is him.
Retreats into the smoke, will put up the deployable shield. He knows that smoke is about to go away, so he has to drop some hard cover here. The train comes through, and Myth will improbably get the win. The fight from the north was so difficult, but what a performance here from Made in Thailand.
What a way to do it. 2-man team. Baron and Kiss locking this down. And remember, they had an onslaught onto Team Liquid. They got third party. They got pulled up on. And they survived. Down to 2-man here. It was perfect, of course. The amount of pressure they're able to put on both TYLOO and to Twisted Minds. Perfectix tried, man. What a performance from him. What a FAMAS headshot he was able to apply to so many of these players here. But yeah, it seemed difficult. It seemed impossible for Twisted Minds to do this, and yeah, that center control, that rock we were talking about in the dead center, they were able to take it at just the right time, and those peaks, Myth being able to do this and get this done here. He's on screen. I had the pleasure of playing a little bit of pool with him and PNC, and he's hitting every single shot in game and on the pool table.
I'm telling you, man, Myth feels like one of those teams right now where everything is just playing out in slow motion for them.
Yeah.
Like it felt like there was 3 or 4 times in that round where they absolutely should have been wiped, but somehow, some way, they managed to come out on top. And in the end, it comes down to a 1v1, Perfectix versus Kiss. 1,000 damage done almost there for Kiss.
Yeah, and 7 kills to come along with it. What a way for Myth to show that they are in form, just coming from that PGS2 circuit final win.
I mean, we've talked about it. They've come in here probably as the hottest squad after getting 2 wins, really, in that Circuit 2. I think it was PGS
won the first series in at Circuit 2, yeah.
Yeah, first series, and then Circuit
and then
3,
14th place, and then they just needed a little bit of a break in that middle series there, but then coming back and then smashing. They're almost doubling the points of second place, and that's just unheard of. They broke all the records we've seen prior to PGS, and just so what they're made of. Very impressed with Myth so far, and yeah, with this game here, being able to put out that amount of points after what we saw from them in game 1 as well, they're going to be so close, even potentially after this day, going straight to that final after just having played half of their games.
Well, it's a pretty scary thing for the rest of the lobby to see. They know what happens when Myth gets a lead. They know what can happen when Myth starts that snowball rolling in the right direction. They've seen it before. They might be seeing it again here soon as Myth gets a massive win here in game number 2. Also, gotta say, first game, they didn't do too bad there either. They got a nice little stack of kills for themselves despite going out a little bit early. Remember, they were the ones that crossed over the road, took down Shadow Esports, fighting their way in. But to start things off here, we do have an interview with Petrichor from Liquid. Let's throw it down to Caleres.
That's right. Thank you very much, boys. Here I am indeed with Petrichor, talking to him mostly about that game number 1 here from the tournament so far. So thank you for joining me, Purdy, here. Let's start things off with that map on Erangel. The boatyard finish. Not something that we see too often at all. Can you talk to me about that? Obviously, you guys were holding full sense. I want to know about like what you were thinking about all the other threats around whilst you were holding them. How much information did you have about where teams were in boatyard?
We were pretty well set with information. I think the biggest thing for that game specifically was at some point Luke goes, "I've got a mortar." I said, "Set that fucking thing up." Like, full sense is our biggest threat, and the fact that he was able to get some mortars off on them made our game very easy.
That felt like a shortest range mortar, like 120 meters or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fair, fair. Let's move on then about the new circles, of course. It's not too many tournaments we've been playing with them, and you're going to have a lot of water in. A boatyard finish, obviously extremely uncommon as a whole. What do you think about these new circle settings? I saw that you guys had zipline guns available and stuff like that. What do you make of it?
Yeah, that's the new land ratio in effect, for sure. That mixed with the speed of the earlier zones, it makes for some chaotic moments, and hopefully you guys enjoy them, because I don't.
Hey, what the viewers get to enjoy, I know it's going to be difficult for the players, and it makes things a lot more spicy and a bit more chaotic. Let's finally finish up with, how has prep looked like for you guys for EWC? Because, of course, I think that there's been moments where even I've been very critical of some of the Team Liquid performances. You guys had an amazing year, of course, and then kind of had a harder time trying to catch up to that. So where are you guys at right now? What's the prep look like for EWC?
The prep is really good. It's actually been very good for a while. We got a lot of hardworking guys. We got Nomi, our analyst, works his ass off. Russ, our coach, works his ass off. A lot of it comes down to execution recently, and that's something we got to improve on.
All right, Purdy, thank you very much. I'll send you back to your booth. Good luck in the next games, my friend, as I now head on over here to have a little bit of a chat about what was going on here with Mr. Matrim, who's going to be joining me to talk about this Tego game. Hey, Matrim.
Oh, hey, man. That last game was a barn burner. I loved the end of it. Twisted coming in very tail into that one. Got a bit dangerous. I was a bit nervous, but the BRDM, the rotates, felt pretty good. But that western side, I almost thought that they were going to die before they managed to get into the tail end of the fight with Myth.
Yeah, obviously, Myth looking amazing.
Oh.
What do we expect like when it comes to someone like Kiss being able to clutch out those kinds of moments? And I think we'll see even more of that. I think it's scary for a lot of these teams now realizing that, hey, Myth's already coming in hot after those PGSs.
Dude, okay, we can talk about that. We can also talk about the VP dying early actually did open up an opportunity because that's an incredibly consistent squad. So we know the fact that anytime they falter out, you're going to have some opportunities for bigger squads. Well, I wouldn't say bigger squads, but bigger firepower to come out. And that's what we saw with Myth.
All right, well, it looks like we're good to go head on over to the studio here to break down everything that's been going on so far.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, champion. He can come in here and play my game. Let's go. He knows nothing. Let's go! Come with me on a journey that will blow your mind. We're going back to a time when accounting was done with, well, sand.
Do we have your attention? Good. Get started at udemy.com.
As the customers were saying, they had an amazing game 1. This game 2 absolutely blew it out of the battle. By the way, Godspeed, Lace, Toffees, and the 7WG. Welcome back. Lace, thank you for joining us, but Myth.
Yeah, man, I've been out in the sunshine, so it's nice to be back on the desk, guys. I've seen too much sun here, but goddamn Myth! I'm so glad I got to witness this, honestly. I've been running around like a crazy person, but I got to witness the craziness that is Myth. Now, obviously, this Apex South team, you know, it's that kind of aggressive play style that gets me really going. I mean, match number 2, I'm not going to say it wasn't that great because it was a fantastic start from them. But as soon as was a Team Liquid sort of dissipate from that and almost Virtus.pro, that just paved the way for Team Myth to sort of make their comeback and their aggressive play style. And plus, you know, usually we, you know, give the reins to Jacob as the star player, but we got to hand the mic over to Kiss because that was such an incredible performance. And to be able to hold that sort of northern side mid-zone while we had like Twisted Minds battle it out, it was just a waiting game, kind of sitting on that rock like a proud
It's
lion.
about getting to the rock. There's two teams that made a huge end game, okay? Twisted Minds, because they opened the door for Myth to get to where they got to. You heard Martin say it, you gotta take the rock. Well, Gibraltar was taken because Myth was able to slide in there during that fight between TYLOO and Twisted Minds. And I don't care what anybody says. Scappy, he's scrappy. Jacob, he's a leader. But Kiss is the Reaper, and there's a reason we say Kiss of Death, because that man Godspeed went pop, pop, pop all over them.
I think what's just also so impressive, if you go back 2 years, you know, you talk about
time.
Let's take a little trip down
a little walk
memory
down memory
lane,
lane.
please, if you would humor me. Going back 2 years, you know, Southeast Asia in general was never really seen as a very strong region, right? They would come to,
I'm upset.
They'd come to an international, they would kind of get farmed, unfortunately, and then they'd go home. Over the course of the last 2 years, we've seen the rise of Cerberus, we've seen the rise of Forest. Now, obviously, in this fantastic team here, and Southeast Asia is no longer here just to participate. They're here to take over.
These Thailand teams are really turning up the heat.
And boy, did they end up taking over. By the way, Twisted Minds being able to use that BRDM, or as I like to call it, the Splat Maker. Because they were just going around all over the place, and they were able to bounce back. Remember what's been going on with that team? This is kind of what I wanted to see out of Twisted Minds coming into that second game.
You know, they're playing with a sub. They kept strong during that whole fight. And is there a more iconic duo than Batulin and the BRDM at this point? I don't know, because he seems to be using it really well. What the key to me is TYLOO put a red zone on those boys. It was brutal. They got 3 back up. They pushed over the top, and they made TYLOO look like children. They came over and they said, all right, you've got grenades when you can hide, but when it comes time for slinging lead, lads, we know how to play.
I feel like a child between you two tall guys.
That's why I'm all the way over here, okay?
I'm a very small man, but, you know, I don't know why you'd feel that way. But speaking of red zones, by the way, let's talk about Myth red zoning Liquid. That was absolutely disgusting. And then something else I want to talk about when we talk about Southeast Asia, or just Asia in general, Winda. Dude, holy crap. Winda came through. He wiped AG.AL almost completely by himself, which was absolutely disgusting. And then he went on with his teammate to continue to wreak havoc before 4 a.m. went down. And this is the first time, I think, this year in a while that 4 a.m. is really a serious team to look at, especially when they have Shen, the Malaysian superstar now. That team is disgusting.
4 a.m. was given the reins to run the way they want to with this team this year. This sort of the latter
and you can
half.
tell.
And it is turning up really well. I think the other thing about Winda is you're right. He's dead on. He's phenomenal, but he's this sort of new blood that's emerging, right? It's the same idea as like, where was Kiss
Fresh
3 or
meat.
4 years ago? Becoming monsters. And that is the thing. You brought up SEA, right? The whole region has been powerful, right? We got from that region, PGC champions, 2 in a row. I think Myth has watched that and said, okay, we can do what they do. They've moved from Forest. They got out of the trees. They've picked up a great support system. Now they have that behind them in addition to everything else they're doing. They're named after their own country. Like, that is all the hype you need to drive yourself and go the distance.
I got a chance to interview them both as well, and honestly, the focus on these guys, and I'm quite a yappy, chatty person if you can't tell at home.
We didn't know. We didn't know.
Sorry, guys, it's coming out now, but my God, these boys are locked. I hope you guys get to see what I was chatting to him about.
We did. Earlier on, we got a chance to see all of that. But yeah, Kiz being able to perform, Winda as well. I can't wait to see what other teams and other players especially are going to be stepping it up in the coming matches. But I want to take a look at the overall. I want to see how everything is currently looking, because another squad that's kind of building that momentum, building that confidence, Shadow Esports. Once again, not crazy stats, but I'm just with them Toffees. I just want them to do well, but you can see right now, Myth just kind of running with it.
So at their win at PGS, they averaged 5.1 points per game. They are already pushed well over that number, which means they don't have to really stress at this point. They have the freedom to run. And just to touch briefly on Shadow, they got wiped again. You know who wiped them this time, Godspeed?
Well, why don't you tell me?
Myth for the second time. Myth has their number. And so those guys need to adjust and just avoid the monsters.
Now you can see the eliminations from all the squads. Team Liquid, I mean, we saw what happened with Team Liquid, especially what you were talking about, Godspeed. Those Myth just demolished them, if we're being completely honest. Twisted Minds with the bounce back at Esports, but I also want to take a look at some of the other teams on that second page, because these are teams, as we're heading into the first half, in a way, halfway through today, we need to start seeing a little bit more out of some of these squads.
So, Lace, I saw Team Vitality in that game. You saw it pull out the sort of the pickaxes, try to lock it down. It was a tough situation for them to sort of decide, do we go in? Do we get out of this defensive position? And I'm not sure. That's what I'm worried about when you look at them, is are they making proactive decisions?
Yeah, look, I was sort of touching on I like an aggressive squad, and I'm not seeing it from Vitality whatsoever. And this is what you need to do in these starting matches. You do need to really sort of push through and get those eliminations early, because otherwise people are going to take that lead. And I did not see that from them. And also Team Nemesis as well. I did sort of pick them as my underdog, but now they're a little bit too under. To be honest.
A little too under the dogs, as they say.
Yes.
Some of the other squads, GK, not really having a great day here at this star. I know a lot of people are expected a lot out of this squad. They were able to previously be with CIS. Now they have a Korean team coming in here. What are the expectations going into this next 4 matches, especially going into the next match?
I mean, I think for the organization, the expectations are high. I think it is a challenge. I mean, I saw, it's hard for you to give a hype speech that involves a translator, right? So, like, the team owners are trying to hype up their guys, and that can be difficult. I do think, again, 2 games in, and you and I know, like, we've played this game, Seven, you know that it is not something that is won in a sprint. This is a marathon, and so I'm not going to write them off for a tough 2 games where circles may not have favored them. I mean, Boatyard is kind of a one-off. Like, I almost got to throw away game 1 in terms of teams that didn't get in. Like, it's hard to do.
Well, let's give it a second, Godspeed. I want you to put yourself in this mindset, all right? You're one of the squads there towards the bottom. You're their coach. What are you going to be telling them, trying to hype them up? Let's just act like they don't have to.
I don't actually think my coaching style is a little less how do I say this? Hand-holdy. I would just lock in. You guys need to lock in 2 teams that I think need to lock in specifically are AG.AL and SOOPers. Right? Those are 2 rosters that have absolutely no business being on the bottom. Now, again, we talk about only first 2 games, sure, yeah, whatever. But again, this is something that can snowball. You and I have specifically seen this so many times where a team that we know should make it, they're like, oh, we're not worried about them. Oh, we're not worried about them. All of a sudden, 2 games left, they're 40 points away from qualifying. So I do think those teams and those rosters are obviously strong enough to make a push. Again, we're early, but seeing them down there this early does give me a slight.
You're not out of it when you let it slide, but every inch of rope you let slide rips the skin off your hands. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make those plays early. And for every chance you fall lower, it becomes harder, it becomes rougher to mentally get yourself back into this. That's my worry with Soop. I think the Soopers are amazing. Everyone knows I love Soop, but I need them to step up and slam down here in game 3.
All right, well, we're going to be working on our coach talk here and make sure that we can actually end up airing it when we come to the desk. Because, Lace, you'll be the next one. Not right now. You'll be the next one, maybe, if one of these teams don't end up performing well. As we're going to be going into the last game, and for everybody watching at home, make sure you end up predicting some of these squads. Go to the EWC website, go to the app, and just put in your predictions because it's out there for everybody. And if you do share anything on social media, use that hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26, as we will love to see some of the stuff that you guys are sharing. But it's time that we send it over to none other than Avenger and Borosaurus.
Thank you very much, gang, and we are back for match number 3. We are heading to the dusty dunes of Miramar. So far, made in Thailand, and Team Liquid at the top of the table, but right behind them, Twisted Minds, GAM Esports, Virtus.pro rounding out that top 5. But as the desk mentioned, there's a couple of teams that haven't really shown up just yet, Martin, and maybe it's time for them to find some success here on Miramar.
But are we the ones to pass our judgment after just 2 of 12 games?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do that then. As the game is partying up here, Puerto Paraiso straight up northwest here. Very easy and great playing path. A lot of teams can get into the usual spots here. And Shadow Esports straight into Picado here. Can they make the most of it so far? They're 9 points because of that first game. They got a good amount of points here, but that center spot there, is that going to pay off, or is going to have to be strong for them? I'll say this, though. We're going to only have 1 Miramar per day for all of Esports World Cup. The featured map is now Tego, where we have that twice per day. So Miramar just once. I do enjoy playing it. I think it's great, but we're going to be going just once per day here. Now for this and how everything kind of lines up, I think a lot of teams are used to those big rotations. And oh my God, look at that first circle pour. We're going straight up north.
Just barely kissing the plane path there, isn't it? All the way up to the northeast we go. towards Krudavaye, up towards El Azahar, towards water treatment. We'll see where it ends up taking us. But 4 a.m., they've got their pick of the litter as to where they want to go to start things off. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I know you've had a little bit of experience in game. Do you find it getting that circle one dead center, does it become more of a problem, or would you rather be dead center, or would you rather be kind of working your way in from the edge knowing that your back is clear?
I mean, there's two metas that's very defined. If you are in anywhere of high priority into this circle, like 4 a.m. is right now, you are leaving extremely early to go to some of these high priority compounds, the barns, some of the areas around the center where you have a lot of control, where teams are not able to pull up onto your position just easily without you being able to put some bullets towards them. So you usually have 1 or 2 guys that go into that, drop you just get a few guns, not maybe even having a level 1 backpack, a level 1 helm, just get straight into that, a 2-2 split. It's not so much about preference, it's more about, do we have that, high priority towards the center of the circle, or are we far away? And then that shifts towards, if we're far away, we're going to loot for a long time, try to get as much gear, get your preferred guns, attachment, everything set up. And also, as you saw in the last game, utility is so important.
Absolutely.
That's what the most teams, they loot for a long time for.
Yeah, it's a big difference between a good central compound and a central compound that you can defend.
Yeah.
Right? So, especially from all sides. As you know, you got some of the best teams in the world in these lobbies. And they're always looking to third, fourth party, any potential fights, try to get those points. We have seen a priority being placed by these teams on securing those kills, making sure that they finish off any knocks that they get. But we've seen how important, you said, as the 60-point roughly is what we're kind of thinking of going in, at least through 2 games, as being our cut line. And there's no last chance qualifier, Martin. It is just top 16 moving on. So there's no backup plan as we see Team Liquid, getting a little bit close to RA, but it just looks like RA doesn't want any of this. He's just going to go ahead and pop right on out of there.
Yeah, disengaging immediately here. R8 so far 0 kills, 0 placement points at the bottom of that leaderboard here, and Team Liquid just pushing on, and it's outside the circle. There's no point to fight for this. This has no priority, so I understand from R8's perspective. There's no point in staying here. 2 nades, a Molotov in hand, no first aids for him, so he's still trying to loot up here. Maybe even going back to El Pozo is worth it for him, as AJR is going to try to get some more information. Liquid is leaving. They're going to be going out here, and AG.AL so far, surprise to me, only 3 points through kills for them. Has destroyed Delvin, him as Insolsi, absolute all-star players. They've had a great performance throughout the year for them so far.
Yeah, a lot of expectations placed on that team, and with good reason. As you said, superstars up and down that roster, but nothing clicking just yet. But there's still plenty of time left to go as they fight their way in towards the center of the circle. We check in with Nemesis down there in Puerto Paraíso. Nobody really anywhere near them, and also nobody really hugging that eastern road ahead of them, so they should have a pretty clean path in, just depending on how long they decide to hold this coastline. If they decide to cut in, they may end up running into Virtus.pro, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, AG.AL obviously getting 2 second places in 2 of the series throughout the PGSs we've had so far this year. We take a look at 4 a.m. here. They're a little bit greedy, I would say. It's a 2-1-1 split for them, and if some of these teams sniff out that it's just 1 or 2 players in some of the higher priority compound, they're going to get pulled up on. They're going to get drive-byed. I'm looking forward to see what happens with that one for sure.
One thing they got going for them is that their split is pretty tight, so if they do get pulled up on, drop a couple of smokes, maybe a couple of Molotovs by the door, and you could slow things down enough that maybe your teammates could come provide some support, but then you open yourself up to the potentials of third parties, fourth parties. Obviously, you're dead center, right? So everybody is going to see that happening, and that is the risk you take by taking those high priority compounds. But we'll keep an eye on 4 a.m. as we check in with Vitality coming through just north of Picado. Looks like they should have a pretty free path in.
Absolutely. And now for the teams that come in late, usually these 6 to 8 teams that are not close or somewhere close to the center, that's just about information now. Trying to sniff out where other teams are, and especially with the circle pop, to see if anyone starts leaving that compound. If they are in a split, you can see a car leaving a compound. And it's like, okay, they're regrouping in another spot they prefer, and that's where the backfill comes in, especially here from a team like Virtus.pro. They're going to come in from the southern side from a high ground spot. They're going to have lots of information available to them once the circle starts moving in closer and starts having a new pop.
Let's check in with TYLOO. You see just on your mini-map there, Himas from AG.AL. This has been a hallmark of AG.AL's play. They do like taking these wide individual splits just to get a lot of information about what's going on around them. And it looks like they'll hear TYLOO, if not see them. Himas will hold the line for now, and TYLOO will just continue their way around. They do have GAM off to the north as well, continuing to make their way in. I don't know about you, Avenger, but this circle, and I say this knowing that we've had hard shifts before, but this feels like it's got hard shift written all over it, doesn't it? I mean, it's just everybody is crowding to the south side of this zone, essentially, and if this hard shifts to the north, it would be absolute mayhem.
And especially with Myth coming in on that northern side, wouldn't it be a classic that we do get a water treatment shift when they are so far away, especially with how far they've driven? We have seen some tendencies with that coming in, so let's see how Myth approaches this one here. Also with Liquid and Arid coming in from that western side, wouldn't that be a grace for them to get just a little bit of love from that circle shift? But yeah, you are right. South and middle is very, very congested. Lots of space towards that northwestern side. Would love a classic hardship towards the northwest. All the teams would hate it.
Oh yeah, no.
Just us talking about it, they despise us.
I mean, look, we're here for fun, and chaos equals fun most of the time.
Facts.
Well, let's see if we're going to get it. We did see Team Liquid playing with that BRDM, so that's something to keep in mind as you do get that water treatment shift. So all the teams to the south and the east have to start making their way in. You see AG.AL already in vehicles. Full Sense on the very far south side. They're going to have a hard time getting in, as they've got Shadow Esports, Vitality, any number of teams that could make their way over there as well.
Absolutely. Virtus.pro not getting anything from this circle here. They're actually trying to exit, maybe go for a wide wrap here potentially.
You do see a couple of teams kind of considering, like Nemesis right now is trying to make their way up to the north on the eastern side, which may push them over towards TYLOO. It looks like GAM and Myth coming in late from that northern side have actually been blessed because they have just their pick of the litter as to where they want to play. Is
oh my god, AG.AL full pull up onto this 4 AM compound currently held by Aasim, and
oh, the rest of the 4 AM boys just hopped in vehicles too, so it doesn't look like they're gonna leave Aasim by himself here. As we'll see if he can escape in the Bronco. Nobody's shooting just. Oh, that's a tough turn. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, every second that ticks by.
Oh, he actually managed to get it out.
Oh my goodness. I thought that almost feels like AG.AL let him escape there almost.
And also because like 4AM already has a decent compound here. Sure, it's not as dead center as AG.AL's here, but I'd rather be a 4-man strong here with a decent compound, and they can backfill this compound later on. 4AM can still move west here, so getting Aasim out here is very crucial for 4AM's campaign throughout this Miramar game that we have going on. Match 3 so far. After this game, we're halfway done. Losing a few tires here for Aasim. That is not good. Already smoking just a little bit here. He's going to try to get out and get behind some of the cover that's here. Shot to come in, connecting, and he's just behind cover. Delvin, AG.AL, and the GOAT coming in from him.
There's a little combination there between AG.AL. Looks like Spaceman might be going on a rescue mission here to get Aasim, but keep an eye on that. Here's Full Sense pulling up on this southwestern side. Now they got Tigger off in the blue, and they're going to spot out R8 just ahead of them. They should maybe spot out Team Liquid as well. I think Luke 12 was the only one left behind, but Team Liquid, nice path for them. They managed to make their way into that northwestern side relatively cleanly, so a lot of space for them to work around just on that western part of water treatment. But Vitality, they might be in trouble here. They're making the send in right between Twisted Minds and R8.
Oh, look at all these shots. And in the arena, it's rumbling. You hear everyone pumping their DMRs towards 4AM. And now with this one here, next circle's about to be popping here, and DN SOOPers ready for this emergency pickup. It goes somewhat south here, so I might wonder if one of them just stays Twisted Minds looking great, GK looking great, AG.AL still in, water treatment's completely open, and Team Liquid is moving in, and they're getting extremely close to Myth here. The two top teams potentially fighting shortly for water treatment control.
Are indeed, and it looks like Team Liquid's going to go for the treatment plant itself, while Myth will continue hanging out on those hills just to the north. Looked like Virtus.pro actually went south. They left the circle, then came back in. So that south side, you can just see it's so congested that the teams are being forced to kind of make somewhat awkward moves here, as Full Sense will full send directly into the south side of water treatment, but Liquid not really set up for this just yet. They're still kind of finding their way around, as Petrichor has that BRDM scouting around, and that Sandstorm hitting at the worst possible time. I'm not sure if he was able to hear Full Sense pull through. Here's Nemesis. We'll take a few shots at GAM, at least the trailing duo of GAM making their way through their territory.
They're trying to take some open space along these ridges here, but Myth is there. Jacob, the IGL, is out front scouting, trying to get information from Myth, as the other guys are backfilling and having high ground control, putting a lot of pressure on GAM as they move in and get closer to this spot here. And yeah, sure, they're inside the circle now, but have teams on multiple sides here. With Jacob's spot here, that could easily be an approach for Myth to take control of this northern side. Petrichor and the guys from Liquid are maintaining some of the control here of the water treatment, but I don't think they are aware how close and how many of Full Sense is inside the southern side of water treatment.
I feel like if Jacob had any more than just one grenade, he might get a little bit more active here. But if nothing else, he's going to at least keep track of GAM. Just on the other side, you see Scabby, Baron, and Kiss still off to the north, still kind of keeping track of everything, making their way through. But this is not a bad spot for Myth to play here, as I think Kiss has actually just popped on the mortar. He might be getting the coordinates from Jacob. And we'll see if those mortars do fall on top of GAM here.
I love that approach from Myth. I think that frontline man with the information, the brain of the operation from Jacob, and then trying to set up a potential approach and assault onto GAM. Let's see what happens with this one here. Alright, also getting somewhat involved here with the Full Sense and Team Liquid's shenanigans inside water treatment. They do have a lot of control on that western side here. If they get a western shift here, it could be huge. My biggest observation right now is that the 3-1 split from Twisted Minds, having example inside that little gas station, if that shifts towards them, it's going to leave a lot of open space with the big Twisted Mind compound in the center.
Go. The mortars are falling, but they're going to go a little bit too far. But Jacob will find Tanvu. He'll find another one as well. Jacob with the high ground, making that AUG sing. But now he's getting shot at from the side by Sololzi. He's got to retreat.
Scabby might have heard. He's right here. You heard the nade. Shots coming in. Baron finds it. He drops the nade, though. Could be doing damage to him. Docjuice confirms himself, but does some damage to Scabby. One more player left alive. It's Cloris. Nades are hauling towards him. It's doing damage to him. 39 from that one. He does have a Panzerfaust in hand.
He saw Petrichor pulling up in the BRDM and pulled out the Panzerfaust. Looks like Kurt was able to escape just in the nick of time. Virtus.pro gets eliminated, crashing right on top of Petrichor Road. But that south shift, so huge right now. As you mentioned, Twisted Minds had that compound, but they are now sharing it with Shadow Esports.
Oh my god, this shift is insane. There's so much open fields in play here with that road going through. TYLOO sending it. Cowboy finds Kiss. Diffix got the nade, but everything is opening up here. Guman did get Dragon. Jacob goes out as well. Team Liquid putting so much pressure on it. All the teams on the northern side, they realize we have no priority inside the circle. We're just going to fight for points, try to get as many kills and eliminations as possible.
Oh, so many teams opting for the salvage game right now, as you see all the scrapping going on the north side, on the northeast side. AG.AL just trying to send it right through the middle, through the GK 4 AM gauntlet, and it looks like they're going to get away with it for now. Twisted Minds still managing to keep all four up while holding the line here against Shadow Esports. But there are eyes looking over in this direction, as it looks like Full Sense might be sending something. Myth will get eliminated in the end as GAM and Nemesis crash down upon them. Looks like Team Liquid is now going to leave water treatment as well.
Yeah, this is a very breachable compound right now with SOOPers and TYLOO both having lost players. A lot of pressure is being applied here. For him is considering, is this worth it? Shots coming in. TYLOO is out in 14th place as Guman and Deal is left to a two-man in this compound here, but 4 kills for them is going to push them up the leaderboard.
4 kills definitely needed by SOOPers, considering the start that they've had right now, but 4 AM is starting to regroup as we see Nemesis trading off with Gam. Only Clory's left alive, playing around that ridgeline, stayed with the blue zone flank. Not going to find any joy, but Clory's is going down to the blue quickly. The grenades will get sent out. He's going to put one up against the backboard. It's not going to do enough to take down Diffix, but Clory's is bleeding out. Team Liquid will find Hwang F, steal one more kill away as they continue to just play from the edge. See if they can maybe third party this, get some more points.
Shots and damage done here. We're talking about it, but Team Liquid was so smart. They're putting on pressure onto them and still got that BRDM in play here. Now they're going towards Geeky. That might be a big fight here. I don't know if it's worth pulling up in a compound like this, but there's no priority. Cloris finds Diffix, continues to have an impact onto Nemesis.
These solo players are so hard to get rid of. As Clory's showing him out, and there you go. Stead will end up finishing him off, and we'll try to see if he can make his way in. It looks like he's electing not even to try. We'll just go ahead and try to heal up and heal through the blue, see if we can get anything off of that as we see Twisted Minds still having to deal with a shadow in their midst, but it looks like they're content with letting them hold that compound for now. But you see Team Liquid getting peppered from range. They're going to have to hop all into the BRDM just to survive.
Just down to Petrichor and Luke 12 here. Go out for the center. Look, there's a few open spots here. That might be very playable for them. Yeah, actually, it is somewhat center in this zone. And we do have a big road in the middle that's splitting the zone in half here. Now Guman is going to be trying to defend this spot here from 4AM.
We were waiting for this push. It looked like 4AM was sniffing around in this direction, knowing that SOOPers was down to 2, but SOOPers holding the line so far. As you see, the circle will up to the north once again. More fighting going on as R8 is getting eliminated. It looks like Shadow has overstayed their welcome. R8 trying to crash into that same compound. That's a little ambitious. They're going to pay the price for it as they are down to just 1.
Yeah, Nemesis out in 12th place here. So many teams trying to approach this Twisted Mind compound. They're being smart about it. They're holding off. They're maintaining control of the western side because they know they can third party later on. They didn't want anything from this very breachable side of the compound here. Now, damage done. Look at this. 4AM got the res, but SOOPers are trying to put so much pressure onto them to get the most out of it. Perfectic finds Belmont, and now Spaceman. Look at that. The off angle from Deal pays off.
SOOPers just 5-head plays here, but there's just too many men to deal with, and Deal will get spotted out in the end, and they know exactly where Guman is. Up and on the high ground. You hear shots coming in. This is Vitality third partying from range, making things a little bit difficult as they'll steal away Deal. Now the grenades will come through. Blue zone grenade do a little bit of damage, but Guman just a pain in the butt right now for 4 angry men.
Molotov as well. That's going to be him out for sure. He's laying down into that's going to be DN SOOPers out in 11th place here. Winner gets it with the Molotov.
Duke managed to collect a few kills there before going out, so not the worst thing ever there for DNS, but again, 3 games in, only 8 points, not the way they wanted to start their tournament. But 4AM still 4 up as Vitality have to send something in here, find a spot to play, and they've got some ridges that could actually maybe keep an eye over here on this Twisted Shadow R8 compound.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fights with that. Fulson's also trying to survive and make the most of it, but Flash, so much damage being done here by Phase 5 as everything closes in 20 seconds. We're going to hit Phase 6. PUBG finds Quizzy. Some damage done here onto Vitality as they have this center spot here. It could pay off for them, but let's see how much time they got for it.
Man.
Oh, look at the util coming in. Levanta goes down as well to I-26, Poro.
You almost feel like that was a bait mortar pit for them to hide in. It looked so good until it didn't, and now they are in trouble as Vitality is just taking it from all sides. Gedrock's the last player left on his feet. We'll see if Hello My Bag can actually retreat through the smoke cloud to get revived, but that is going to be asking a lot here as you see Chewy from Petrichor Road just keeping eyes on everything around him. Diggy, diggy hole, the mantra of the day, as mortars will fall around them. 4AM on the move now, too.
Down to just 9 teams here, Poro. Just one more team eliminated. It's going to be one more point for placement here. So much pressure being put onto Vitality, and it just swings around the ball. The cars are exploding, too. And yeah, you said it perfectly here. That could be a great bait setup for it. Did love it. AG.AL here. They have the eastern side control here as GK try to move into the northern side here, but they also have Team Liquid that's set up towards that center spot. We still have this big road that's effectively just a big river of nothing going through because there's just open space and no cover to play around that.
Absolutely, and saw Geeky, they were causing problems for a lot of teams down south. 6 kills already for them. They've taken a knock. It looks like they're going to be able to get that man back on his feet. I think that's EJ. Should be able to get him revived as 4 AM, getting a little bit close to Petrichor Road, but you see how difficult this can be to dig these guys out as grenades and bullets will take down 2 from 4 AM almost instantly. Shen has to stop down to heal up as Winda kind of offside right now. Not part of all of this nonsense just yet. The blue zone grenade going to force Shen to move once again. Not able to go for the res on the Spaceman just yet.
See here what 4AM is going to be able to do. I don't think they're able to save Spaceman if it looks like, oh, okay, might be able to get the rest off here. No utility being thrown at them just now. Parkro's out. Stolen by Petrichor here. Look, it makes the most out of this one here. Look how many teams is on the south compared to the north. AG.AL, Liquid, half a Geeky basically. This might be an AG.AL game depending on what happens here. Shen, more damage done. This car's going to explode too. The Golden Mirado out of there.
Well, it was a good thought for a second. But fortunately for them, they're still in right now. No more vehicles though. You can be the rest of your game kind of decided by how many more smokes you have in the bag. As example, just free farming fire over on this direction. 5 kills now for Twisted Minds, still 4 alive. A lot of that having to do with the patience that they've displayed in holding this compound, letting Shadow Esports just remain as a 3-man in there. Avoid them for now. Eventually, you're going to have to deal with them. But for now, just let them survive.
This is such a great compound to be putting out pressure to the rest of the circle. It's just flat terrain around them. Let's see if they are able to maintain control. No, look at that. That's a perfect circle for R8 and Shadow Esports, but Twisted Minds is 4 guys strong. They know exactly how to approach this next compound. It's going to take some fight, but let's see what happens. From the northern side of the circle, though, it feels like only one team is going to be able to stay alive once this fight between AG.AL, Liquid, and Geeky and finally ends up.
Shadow Esports going to get an opportunity to fix their mistakes from game 1 whenever they weren't able to hold off Myth as they made their push away. We'll see if they can hold off Twisted this time around as 4 AM just beaten, battered, and bruised, but still alive and still in it, trying to fight their way in. But Chewy and I-26 just dug in so well. That is so difficult to try to dispatch with. AG.AL, meanwhile, they're outside in the blue, or right on the edge right now, and they're taking a lot of damage here from Twisted.
Oh, so much damage being done to AG.AL. Destroying him has gone down. It's going to be rough. It's going to be difficult. Maybe even impossible for them to get in. Delvin bleeds out. Setsuna gets the point for Shadow Esports. As the leaderboard does light up quite a bit here. 3 teams on the top is alive, but look at that.
Twisted Minds just exerting pressure across the entire lobby right now from the last bit of high ground. 600 something damage there, for example. No kills just yet, but Twisted 6 on the board for the team as 4 AM trying to regroup and see if they can maybe take this fight against Petrichor Road, and it's going to be a little bit easier now that AG.AL has been eliminated.
Liquid might get a lot of points away from this game here. Hello, my bad fans. Shen here. Setsuna finds Songjang. We're down to just 6 teams now as 4 AM is eliminated. Hello, my bad, and Vitality is able to defend this off with Getrox as well being alive inside this circle.
What a hold, Vitality. Down to 2. They took the quote-unquote bait ditch earlier. Perfectix just solo pushing Teddy, and he's going to go down, but the trade come through. No, Teddy will get 2, and now Twisted Minds in a little bit of trouble. Teddy holds the line, but goes down in the end to Team Liquid. Shadow Esports down to just Kamals, but the damage has been done. All the teams that were coming from the west have been broken apart, and now all of a sudden it's a 2v2, v1v1, unless Shadow can get both of these revives off.
Oh my God, what a way for Shadow to get that. Teddy made everything possible, and they could third-party that fight between Twisted Minds and him. And look at this next circle here. Does go off the road here. Liquid's going to have to make moves. Petrichor Road is going to have to make moves. And Shadow, a gift from the gods. Their compound is still inside.
And they are able to just fully reset. Vitality not in a position to where they could capitalize off of those 2 knocks. They just have great position. There's no reason for them to push just yet. We'll see what Petrichor Road decides to do. Chewy and I-26, really, I think this might be just a game of chicken between themselves and Luke 12 to see who has to move first.
Yeah, surely it's just, Luke dying out when he has to run from this one here. It's difficult to make anything work without vehicles, without cover. Yeah, Petrichor Road about to be having a fight with Vitality. This could just be a straight up gift to Shadow Esports. Perfect third-party opportunity from them. It looked like Twisted Minds had it in the bag, but Teddy denied everything from R8. Finally some points for them. 4 points overall, and now AG.AL, one of the favorites in last place.
Like it might have been a rare misstep from Twisted Minds, maybe just not
smart
keeping track of R8 and not knowing that he was there, because he saw Perfectix just solo push into the building like there was nobody in there, and that is not something you see very often.
And first rule is you should never go in solo in a house you've not cleared together. Sure, you have confidence, but you need to go in together to be able to refrag so you don't lose players like that. The Twisted Minds made exactly that mistake, unfortunately.
Pay the price for it. Now Team Vitality on the hold here against Petrichor Road. They've managed to find a little bit of a foothold with the high ground. They still got grenades left, and they're going to drop them right on top of Halo My Bad, but it's not going to land.
Whoa!
Those grenades, you have to hit those if you're Petrichor Road, and that's going to take down I-26. The smoke walls are going down quickly. He's going to try to go for the res. We'll see if Vitality lets him.
That's difficult. Oh, Gedrox might even be stuck under the car. It exploded straight onto him. He was stuck down in a hole.
Oh, no.
He can't even get out.
He's stuck, yeah.
The car slid onto the top of him here. Him being able to be alive is a miracle.
Really unfortunate there for Vitality, but I don't even think they have any utility left to throw over at Petrichor Road. But Petrichor does have utility of their own to send down, and so does Shadow, who are taking the opportunity to take the center of the circle, and now they're trying to collect some more points. They will finish off Petrichor Road. Vitality secures second place, but will go down in the end, and Shadow Esports, the relative unknowns, come in and get the massive win in match number 3.
What a way for them to defend that compound. Third-party Twisted Minds take down Teddy and then take the chicken dinner here. Shadow Esports. What a way to do it. 9 points going into this. Levanza just laughing. What are you going to do here? They're able to get way more points than you actually expected for them, considering that they sent it that deep into the circle, found some holes, dug out, and put pressure onto Petrichor Road.
It was always going to be a tough game for Vitality once those circles kind of pulled away. They're fighting them from away from
so
the
excited.
south. Just said it, and they should be. What a game from Shadow. I mean, the fact that Twisted Minds basically allowed them to live right next to them without ever pushing them for a majority of that game, it felt like. And then in the end, as you said, Teddy just throwing just a wrench in the works for Twisted. It was like they didn't know he was there.
It felt like the way they set up was like, okay, as long as our part of the compound is in, we're just going to put pressure. You saw examples, tons of damage, no kills. Sure, the other guys got most of it, but still, they were able to just think, okay, let's try to stay on the roofs, try to get as many kills as we can from outside the circle, and then we're going to deal with the compound later. It felt like an easy plan, but the way it got executed was just not the way to do it for Twisted Minds. Still, sure, they got points. They are so far ahead right now. They're still in the top 4. It is looking good, and we're only halfway through day 1 here. 3rd game done, Poro. What's your thoughts so far on the teams?
Oh man, I mean, Myth looked absolutely dominant in their victory. Team Liquid now putting another good game up there as well. I think they're in sole possession of first place. So Team Liquid looking pretty strong. Twisted Minds, despite not getting a win just yet, they're looking pretty strong as well. You can't discount them. I mean, they exerted so much influence over that lobby this last game just because of that high ground that they were holding.
Shadow Esports. They know that they're about to win here. So excited.
Vamos.
That's massive, man. You can't help but smile. You can't help but be excited for them. I mean, this is a team, let's be honest, not a lot of people had very high expectations of coming into this. They're not a known commodity, but that is a big, big win for them here in match number 3 to follow a pretty good performance in game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. found themselves in the boatyard, were able to set up and then take the chicken dinner here in game 3.
We love that. Well, 3 games down. We've still got 3 more left to play, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey there guys, it's Kalaris at the Esports World Cup, and we have an opportunity here to test all of our players to be able to identify your chances here to figure out some of these plays.
Not good about that.
Yeah, not too good, not too good.
Not too good. All right, well, let's roll the first clip and see if they can identify a play from the past. Okay, we're on Miramar. A crash. Which teams or players may be in this clip?
Genji and TE.
Ding, ding, ding. That is a correct answer straight away from Luke 12.
I know this clip, I can't remember who.
Yeah, I see the Genji logo now.
There you go, Genji and TE, the hold, 2v4. Okay, that's 1-0. Let's move on to the next clip. Actually, I can see on the leaderboard why this might be easy to identify.
It's Twisted and...
Twisted and someone not doing well.
Genji again?
I think Genji again, almost.
I'll give you a few more seconds. You're right with one team, obviously.
Hanzo's
Arrow? I don't know.
No, I think in the end this one is Twisted versus All Gamers Global, actually. AG.AL. Next one's yours, okay?
Yeah.
You've got this next one.
Oh, Team Liquid.
Wait!
I got it.
He did it!
I did it.
He did it!
All right, Luke, what happened here? You can tell it.
I think we almost throw.
Well, what's happening right there?
Some chaos.
You know what's
Genji?
funny?
Genji, yeah.
What player is that?
I don't know. Some bullshit's happening.
You know what's funny? Is actually, yes, of course, it is Liquid versus Genji, and it is described as Liquid BRDM Chaos versus Genji. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next clip.
Team Liquid.
That's us.
Who are you shooting at? Let's see who that is. Ooh,
Bolt
look
player.
at that shot.
Who's the Bolt? It's T5.
Guys, you're amazing.
I think we're camping T5 right now.
Out of North George?
Yeah.
Purdy Headshot versus T5.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
There you go.
The Bolt guy.
All right, the final clip. Let's run it. Also might be quite difficult. From 2023, game is 8.
Is this Pixel?
Oh, I remember this clip. Yeah, it's...
I don't know the teams. Pixel's the guy that clutched,
Pixel,
right?
Yeah,
That is correct.
I remember this.
But you don't remember who he's against?
SSG?
Nope.
No. FF?
Nope.
I have no clue.
It was E-Arena, but hey, you got
E-Arena,
Pixel. It's
yeah.
pixelated and you got Pixel. Guys, you did amazing.
a lot better than me.
Well played, boys. I thought you were going to be doomed, but you knocked it out of the park. All right, that is our first iteration. Thank you very much, Luke.
Yeah,
thank you very
so
much,
for having
Cowboys.
us.
A team that nobody expected to do this well except one person. We were being told, don't even talk about them, don't bring him up. But Shadow Esports with the... That's right. In another top phase, you were believing in this team since the beginning.
I don't know if I go that far. I will say that I said that they needed to have a good day one because tomorrow is going to be probably the worst day of their competitive career because they have to go up against 17 for a bunch of drops. So they need to have a good day today, and my goodness, they sure did. Now, that was handed to them on a silver platter, the way that end game sort of played out, but I'm not going to disrespect it. A win is a win. Doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile.
Look, we've seen a lot of teams with the same position who should have won not win, right? Not take the advantage and push that envelope forward. So the fact that they were able to get the win is great. Also, Setsuna, just great round from him, really coming in the clutch right at the end with a couple kills. You know, maybe 1 or 2, who knows?
Especially when we talk about that finish. I know Godspeed, when we were watching, it's like, man, that is one of the toughest finishes for a lot of the squads.
Yeah, so that circle, there's a few circles in Miramar just horrible to play. That specific one around that compound south of water treatment is one of those, because if you're not already set up in the zone, especially where you saw teams like Twisted already trying to get set up, it's a crapshoot, right? How many times have we seen that Death Valley Road kind of just become a problem for the teams. And as you can see, it was not a problem for Shadow, though. They were able to kind of put themselves in that compound that I'm talking about, and that's exactly why they were able to weather the storm and get that first place finish with 19 points, 9 kills. That's impressive.
And Team Liquid being able to bounce back in this one after Myth ended up just destroying them. You know what? We're just going to go with absolutely destroying them. Good performance out of this squad there with 11.7 coming in from kills. Now, Lace, I know you're looking at one team specifically, and it's none other than Full Sense, because right now they're not having one of the hottest starts. Very inconsistent.
Yeah, let's have a little conversation about them. For, you know, a defending world champ, we ain't seen this very champion-like team, but, you know, being in that sort of middle of the rank on the leaderboard, but I'm seeing a very slow decline. And like with a player like, you know, Belmont on there, I just don't know how they're sort of going to bring this back. And, you know, they came from a first, I think, in the PUBG Thailand series. So I guess their sort of competitor at the moment is like the likes of Myth, where they're doing exceptionally well. But yeah, Full Sense, they're in a little bit of a sticky conversation, we'd say, and we're not sort of seeing any good truth from them.
If we learned anything about Full Sense at PGC, it's that they're exclusively a finals team. So here in the group stages, we don't really know how they play, and I think they are being caught off guard. Now, they did well in the Thailand series, but my pick for that, and the reason they did that, is I think, A, it's a little bit weaker as a larger group, but more importantly, it's an aggressive style of play over there that I don't know that it translates as quickly to the international.
It's an APAC thing.
It is.
It happens in multiple games. I don't know what's going on in my region, guys, but we're just full send, but sometimes it don't work.
I mean, but that's literally what built APAC, right? When we talk about, you know, the slump 2-3 years ago when they weren't that great, that was still always their style. You look at teams of the past like Day Trade, right? They were so fun to watch because they would just send it in, but they would die. And we're kind of seeing a little bit of a throwback to that, which I'm not really a big fan of, because when they were servers before AG.AL, you have him as some of the best players in the world. At one point, he was the best player in the world. The trend of going backwards is not what we want to see from these guys.
And something that ended up helping out some of the squads there that were in the middle of the pack is that I believe from first place to 6th place in Circle 6, we only had 2 squads alive. Only 2 teams, which kind of allows some of the other teams to catch up, especially with the dominance that we were seeing earlier on out of Myth. One of those squads being Vitality as well.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Vitality goes, and we'll get to, I'll turn that over to you to talk about in a second. I do want to say that you can't hold this circle against anybody, though. As you brought up, this was a nothing burger of a circle, right? Yeah. And some teams had to try to find to make a feast out of it. I know Vitality tried, and others came through with a little bit of a better position.
I mean, I was just going to touch on our joke that we had. I think they may have heard us because we were talking a little bit of smack about Team Vitality being down the bottom there, but honestly, I think that kind of pulled in their favor. Do I think it's down to skill and... No, I think it was a bit of luck. I stared into the camera and said that one. I'm so sorry.
Toughies, you mentioned burger earlier, man. Come on, I'm over here going to get hungry because I know somebody that's currently hungry for a lot of kills is none other than Luke 12. My goodness, his performance today, Godspeed. We saw him earlier on with the mortar, but now backing it up, it doesn't matter what he uses. He's just performing today.
Look, when Luke 12 first joined the STK standouts, right, Steve, you know this, he was arguably, in fact, I don't even say arguably, he probably was the best player on that team. We saw him clutch. He was the reason that Purdy was able to finally win his first regional title. And so because of that, Luke has always been such a staple and such a performer on this team. Over the last 2 years, I don't want to say he slipped, but he definitely hasn't been that top performer we've seen or that we're used to. However, seeing this performance so far today, it's been wonderful to watch because Luke has always been a powerhouse on that squad.
The spark is back.
Yes.
Okay, the spark left and brought back the spark, if you understand what I'm saying. And it seems to work well.
Brazilian.
Well, but I'm saying, see, you know, I think the change in the squad gave a little fresh air there. But you got to remember, like ALO, Purdy, and Luke have been playing together for we had like decades. 7-8 years at this point.
Decades.
So they have that chemistry, they have that system, and when it works, it works. The thing I love about what they did is they got caught on that rotation trying to go over to the left side from the top. They lost 2 players, and they turned back, hunkered down, held their position, and salvaged, I think it was 4 or 5 points out of that recovery. And that's what the difference is between winning and losing these events.
I also have to say, that roster, you talk about the core 3, but when Sparking had joined that team, everyone was so excited, and he was so dang talented. But Cowboy, I think, has been a wonderful addition, has been really stepping up in that roster as well. So I want to give a big shout out to Cowboy and his performances.
And he needs a haircut. You might see that.
Okay, I'm not saying all that.
He said it to me. He's like, where is the barber? And I said, I'm pretty sure there's one at EWC, don't worry.
There is one, actually. I ended up using it, so hopefully it looks okay.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, I'll let him know exactly where it's at. Maybe we'll have Kalaris catch up with him and talk about that hairstyle that he currently has. But for some of the other squads, I mean, we got to look at the bottom, too. This is the halfway point. We have AG.AL there towards the end, too. This squad is going to have to step it up in a big way. You know what? We'll actually get a chance to talk about some of these other squads later on. But for right now, I'm hearing that we got something going on in the stage with Barney and Luti.
Chris. It's called the City of Love. Yeah. But you guys put garlic in everything. You must go through breath mints like crazy.
You know what, Bunny? What I wonder about London, it's called the Big Smokes, and you all have bad teeth.
Yo, okay. Well, snails are gross.
I know, but British food is like testing of nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
You suck at football!
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah. Truce? Okay. Okay, so we're about to go into match number 4. We need to rethink our strategy. What's our approach?
I think we just find a pickaxe, and we dig a hole, and we stay in it.
That's a good idea. Or we could get a third person's perspective on this next one. Casters, over to you.
I saw what you did.
Thank you so much, guys. It is going to be Matchroom and Paper Thin reunited, and it feels so good, my man.
So good, my friend. I am so happy to be back.